PocaTV. Wenzzzday.
So here we are again.
Good evening.
Good, what is it for you? Afternoon, isn't it?
Afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday. We got a Ting going on. And I guess we should dive straight into it. Or do you have anything you want to share with the viewers right now?
No, nothing, no incidentals to report this week.
No incidents. Okay, well, that's good news. That means we got time on our hands.
Incidentals, yeah.
Incidental, yes. Yeah, okay, got you there. Yet again, you and I are going to share one single topic. The topic being, well, I don't even know where to start. Let's just call it the Rubiales, the lip thief thing, in which we will prove and discuss that football is not played with lips or hands, hence the name football. We all know what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take it from the very top. It happened when Spain, the women football team, won the World Cup. And this is the reporting on that.
Spain has been crowned World Cup champion after a 1-0 win over England. Olga Carmona scored the lone goal in the 29th minute of the match. This is the first time Spain's women's team has won the World Cup. So joining us now to break it down is Lisa Carlin. She's a CBS Sports Golazo network analyst. So what did Spain do right?
Anne-Marie, they did everything right. At the end of this World Cup, a lot of pundits are saying that the best team won. And on the best day, Spain won. That's how they beat England. They stuck to their game plan. And that was the cleanest thing about Spain's run throughout this World Cup. They were a possession-oriented team. They could understand the tactics. They kept the ball well. They regained possession after they won it. And that was the consistency that led them to the World Cup final. They had done it previously at youth levels, winning the U17 World Cup, the U20 World Cup, and now averaging just over 25 years of age for this entire roster, they do it again. And this is only the third World Cup that Spain has been in. So they're doing something right. There's good things in the water there for the Spanish.
There's good things in the water there for the Spanish. And that is what the whole discussion should have been about after they won.
Yeah, now just before we get into the meat of all of this, that was just talking about the actual football itself, which is great. But one thing I took from that was when they said the way that they played, that is very reminiscent of the men's Spain World Cup team when they won the World Cup in 2010, when they had Xavi, Iniesta, all Busquets, Puyol, all the greats. I don't know if you know those names. It was practically the whole Barcelona team, bar two players, I think. And that's exactly the way they played, and they dominated. No one could live with them.
But remember that tournament, all we talked about was how well the players played and how well they were organized and how well everything was going.
Indeed, there wasn't the controversy that followed the women's final.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to be talking about. But before we do, I see that there are people there already. Here's our good friend Donna Mattis checking us out.
Donna.
Hi there, Donna. We're looking forward to your comments during this program. Because what happened, of course, as everybody knows by now, because we haven't stopped talking about it at all, what happened is that Luis Rubiales, the president of the Spanish Football Federation, this is not just a little guy, the president of the Spanish Football Federation,
which includes the men's game as well as the women's game.
It's the Football Federation, exactly. So this is the big guy on top of that Football Federation. We know there's millions going on. I'm talking euros in football. This guy is the big guy on top of that, and he grabbed one of the players, Jenny Hermoso, who is normally number 10. She was playing number 11 that day, apparently, an attacking midfielder. He grabbed her and he kissed her flat on the lips. That's what happened. Your initial thoughts before we dive into this, DJ?
Well, when the story first broke, I'll be honest, I just thought, come on, it's jubilation. They just won the World Cup, for crying out loud. These are my thoughts that was going on in my head. But then I read more about what people were saying, and the fact that you know, it's a kiss on the lips, which in some circles and in many circles is seen as intimate or even sexual, as opposed to a kiss on the cheeks. Because if it was a kiss on the cheeks, we wouldn't be having this discussion now. It's because it was on the lips. And then I think it was only yesterday, for the first time, I saw the real-time video footage in real time. And
we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Oh, okay. It was a split second, but I understand the grievances, and he should have known better, basically. And I've also read some stuff, I don't know how true it is, that he does have a bit of a reputation with the women anyway. This is not the first kind of incident involving him. Whether other incidents have been reported in this way or not, I don't know, but it's not the first time he's been involved in this kind of situation.
True. And to prove that, we can show what kind of man he is. Remember, I'm going to repeat that a couple of times. This is the top dog of the Football Federation, the guy in charge of all Spanish football.
The most powerful man in Spanish football.
In Spanish football. Let's see his behavior during the game. Mind you, he's sitting on his VIP spot right next to the Queen or some kind of royals. And this is the type of guy he is.
Oh, God. I've never seen that footage, and now I see the crotch. And
I really had to dig for that video, but I found it. Once again, let me remind everybody, this is a grown man. So you being a man, DJ, I'm going to put this one right there on your plate. What is going through a man's head?
His dick. His dick. That's what's going through his head.
He's watching a football game. Why is he even concerned with his crotch?
Because it's turning him on, I guess, because they're doing well. He's probably on a big bonus as well, financial bonus, I'm guessing, if they do win it as well.
And all of that translates directly to the crotch in the man's case.
Well, in many men, it wouldn't. If it was me, no, it wouldn't be. But in many, with a lot of men, that's how they operate. They think with their dick a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's something very disturbing about that kind of behavior to me.
Absolutely, it's Neanderthal. Is it Neanderthal? It's kind of, it is primitive.
Okay.
You know, maybe it's is it hormonal? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just bestial. No, no, I don't see animals do that. I don't see animals do that. The only animal I see do that is human animals. Male human animals.
I was going to say apes, but we're the same species. So
the what? What did you say?
I was going to say apes. But humans and apes.
Apes don't go around crutching their crotch.
I don't know. I haven't really studied it.
They beat their chest, or I don't know what they do, but
that's gorillas. Yeah.
Anyway, as we all know, he kind of apologized, then he retracted that, then the whole thing just spiraled out of control. And
but even the apology was very weak as well. It wasn't very sincere.
No, it was very lame, to be honest.
Very lame, and it was almost like he was forced. He was told to apologize, but you could tell he didn't believe in his apology.
And the whole body language of his apology portrayed something as if the rest of us are idiots, and he's the victim of it all. But it's part
coming from the fact that no one can touch me. I'm the boss here. I'm the
There you go.
big shot in Spanish football. I can do what I want without,
Exactly.
and I shouldn't have to deal with any repercussions.
Right. So, as we all know, it sparked huge demonstrations in Spain, but
Yeah.
in more places. There's many teams who have said, they're appalled at this whole thing, and they would not have anything to do with the Spanish team. So now it's they're shunning the Spanish team because of this guy, right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. So I try to come up with some answers. And I really don't know if there are any answers, except the man should be hanged. But I
That's a
dug
bit.
really deep. Yeah, I'm very, yes, because of his
That's
position.
that's very drastic, but yeah, I think hanging is a bit strong for kissing someone on the lips. But
No, it's not even the kissing on the lips that appalls me. It's what happened afterwards. Because to
yeah,
be honest, anybody can understand heat of the moment and blah blah blah, and my hormones are raging, and I don't know what it is that men say. If only he had just said that at the end. He did not. It turned really ugly. Then they
well,
started.
he
No,
said,
I'm making a point here. Then they started blaming her, which they always do in cases of male molestation on females. They blame the woman, and then they were gonna drag her to court and all of that. That's what was going on. Now you talk.
well. There's several things that I'd like to say. The first thing is that had it been a less senior member of the Spanish FA who had done this, that he would have been out on his toes by now. He would have been sacked or been pushed.
It depends.
He wouldn't be involved anymore.
It depends on how high up that person.
Yes,
would
but
be.
it's the same. It's the same crime, so to speak. It's the same. It's the same offence.
Mhm.
So it shouldn't be one rule for one and another for somebody else. That's the point I'm trying to make there.
Yeah, and the point I'm trying to make is men should keep their grubby hands to themselves.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. He shouldn't have even contemplated it. He claims that she consented. Well, how did she consent? By how did he ask her? He said, in fact, he whispered in her ear. I don't know if you read that part.
Yes,
That
I
he
did.
whispered in. Yes.
Okay,
and-
okay.
yeah.
If we're gonna go there, I've got a body language expert up my sleeve. I need to check his real name
Yeah,
because
right.
his name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. He's a Spanish body language professional, not Spanish. He was born in Venezuela. He now lives in Miami. This is a world famous body language person. He coaches high-end CEOs of big companies on how to comport themselves, and he also, that's what he's famous for. He comments on behavior of the British royal family. So this Jesus Enrique Rosas, he's taking us through what happened here. Pay attention.
If you have been to Spain, you might notice that people talk really close to one another, and there's a lot of physical touch in the sense of touching your arm or your back while talking, and it's something seen as normal. Now, I'm not saying that Spanish culture justifies Rubiales' behavior. I just thought it was important to highlight that physical touch and proximity in Spain culture is much closer and warmer than other parts of Europe, and for that matter, the world. But let's take a closer look at their body language to see what was really off about this. Right now, we should focus on this gesture. Regardless of asking permission about the kiss, grabbing someone's head is a very dominant gesture. And this is regardless of the sex of those involved. It's something that limits their movement, and it's something that can take you by surprise. And this is a very controlling and dominant gesture. And he's asking the so-called permission, expecting the answer in half a second while holding her head like this and not allowing her to look away. You don't need to be a body language expert to realize it was a lot of pressure on her. What's even more concerning about this is that Rubiales is kind of their boss here. So we're talking that he's acting from a position of power. And that is one of the factors that we must take into account. That doesn't have to do with body language itself, but conditions, how body language and behavior has to be assessed.
And
True.
that is the point. So
Yeah.
So let's break it down. What the body language guy said. He said, "Okay, Spain has a culture of touchy, but this is still off. The reason being, he's holding her hand with two hands. I have had that happen to me, DJ. Let me tell you, as a woman, what that's like. I remember vividly, and this must have been in 1996 or something. So that's how many years you're good at maths? 96 is how long ago?
27.
It's 27 years ago. And I still remember to this day, I was at some kind of a charity program, and there were two guys there, hot shots like this guy. The first one came up, did the same thing to me, held my head and kissed me straight on the lips. And then the second guy saw it and he said, "Oh, if he can do it, I can do it too." And he did it too. You know what a woman does at that moment? She freezes. Because she's so astonished at the fact that somebody has the gall to do that she has no reaction at all, especially if there's a hierarchical difference between the two of them.
So in other words, how she doesn't have the opportunity to actually say no.
First of all, he did not give her. He gave her half a second, as you hear Rosa say.
Yeah.
Half a second is, if somebody, even if that happened, even if he whispered in her ear, "I'm going to kiss you," does she, in half a second of him holding her head, have the opportunity?
Well, certainly not in
off?
that environment, not in that jubilant atmosphere or anything. Yeah.
I don't think there's any situation in which a woman would find the words and would find the presence of mind to, at that point, tell her boss to bugger off, because there's so much going on in the split second.
Yeah. So as you say, he was exploiting his power.
That's what he was. Even if he was jubilant, even if the moment was full of euphoria, he should have known better.
And I've tried to put myself back in the workplace, and if I've had maybe two female bosses in my work career, and neither of them kissed me on the lips. But
it really is not the normal thing to do, to be honest.
No. It shouldn't even go through their mind to even contemplate it. Maybe a kiss on the cheek at Christmas or something, that kind of thing. But that's about as far as it goes.
I think we should ban the whole kissing thing at the workplace. It really, because people just don't know the boundaries.
No, but even in the environments of a nightclub, of a work Christmas party or something, it's going to happen. People are drinking and stuff like that. But I'm not condoning it. Absolutely not.
No, I understand you're not. But I seem to think that we're always trying to find cute little reasons why things have happened, and it's always, I had a couple of drinks, I didn't realize. Stop drinking. If you can't handle your liquor and start acting like a gorilla, stop drinking.
They're more excuses than reasons. I've always said an excuse and reasons are different things.
I know
they're not the same. But I go back to what I was saying. Had it happened to me, had a female boss, or a male boss for that matter, kissed me on the lips, no matter what the circumstances or the party kind of environment, I would have thought, A, that's weird, B, I'm not happy with that, and C, how the hell can I work? Can that person and myself continue to be work colleagues going forward in the future? And this is one of the reasons he has to go, because it's so awkward. The fact that the women's team, the fact that Spain won't have a women's football team as long as he's in that job is by the by. because there are plenty of other women out there, I'm sure, who would love to fill the boots of those players and play for Spain in another World Cup. So he has to go. His position's untenable, and he's being made an example as well, because he's a big shot. He's a high-profile person, individual, and they need, a precedent needs to be set.
Exactly.
And it will probably be called the Rubiales precedent, whatever. However
Here's another comment coming in from Adrienne. Hi, Adrienne.
Hi, Adrienne.
Lovely of you to watch. He was not exploiting his power, she says. He was showing the world what he can do with his power. This is pure arrogance.
What's the difference? Exploiting or showing the world? What's the difference? It's still exploiting it.
Let's see again. He was not. Yeah. Maybe you're right. But the arrogance of it is what gets me in this comment. It is this guy thinks he's God.
He felt entitled. That's the thing.
That's right. And one wonders, because I mean it's one case after the other recently, isn't it? Because these things are coming out in the open now. It used to be women used to just suck it up and carry on their lives and nurse their wounds. And I'm talking about psychological wounds, because that's what it does to you. It wounds you psychologically. And it used to be women used to suck it up and just carry on. But those days are over ever since, Me Too happened. And now we're going to get people saying, yeah, but Me Too is woke, as if woke is a bad thing.
No, but that's nothing to do with it.
It does not, exactly. I'm going to try and see if anybody wants to join us here in the studio, DJ. If so, just you know what to do. You need to scan that code that you see in the bottom corner there with your phone to come into this orange room with us. Alternatively, if you are watching on a laptop, which is way better, that, head over to that URL, bit.ly/Wenzzzday11, because this is our 11th episode. And that too will take you to the orange room. I really, really, really would love for somebody to come in and talk to us about this thing. Anybody watching on YouTube or on Facebook or even on LinkedIn, which is what we're doing recently, just scan the code or head over to the URL and join us here in the orange room so we can pull you up.
But do you really think? Do you think that this particular incident is going to pave the way for some major changes in Spanish society, for example, and the way that men conduct themselves when around women?
Well, it's not going to be an overnight thing, that's for sure.
No. But if you think of the Me Too campaign, which you alluded to earlier, which was America? Yeah.
It started in the United States, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, that, at least at the time, because it was news all the time, newsworthy, things were changing. But now it's dropped out of the news. I wonder if complacency has kicked in again. And, the
thing that needs to change is the patriarchy, DJ. It's this, like you said, this entitlement that apparently men in power feel that this is their world and they can do whatever it is that they wish. That needs to change.
There needs to be some strong women basically telling them how they should behave. Someone like Margaret Thatcher or Golda Meir, they were, men didn't mess with them.
There are plenty of women telling them. They need to feel it. I believe somebody needs, and I'm very willing to be that person. Somebody needs to go around bashing them in their face and I don't know what, doing what to that crotch of theirs. So it will die and it will no longer, be master over what they do in their lives. What is it that men seem to think that?
I think in a lot of cultures in the world, different countries, different cultures, different societies, women feel that it's almost like a duty for them to bow down to what the men are doing, to what they want them to do. They don't feel. Some of them don't even feel there's anything wrong with it. And that's a problem. That's a problem in itself. Another issue.
Maybe, yes.
and I think religion comes into play a lot.
How
there.
does religion come into play with this? Really, you enlighten me.
No. In terms of how people see, you have the man and you have the woman. The man, that's all.
There's no religion on earth that says men should grab women and kiss them against their will.
No, but it's implied a lot of the time. It's implied. I mean, look at Islam and the way women are treated, even openly, as second-class citizens. What's the Taliban now doing in Afghanistan? They're stopping women from flying to another country so they can go to university because they're not allowing them to go to university in Afghanistan. So the Taliban's a classic example of that, in my opinion. Or Islam.
We don't need to be so extreme. I mean, Taliban is extremely extreme.
But it's a kind of general thing with Islam. It's not just about Afghanistan.
No, it's a general thing with men. Is the point I'm trying to make?
Well, no,
it's all over the world.
Yeah,
it's all over the world. Adrienne is back here telling us what she meant. She says exploiting is something you do towards an individual. It never was about the player. It's all about him, is what she says.
Okay.
I think I get the gist of what she means.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Yeah.
Let's continue on showing our viewers what kind of guy this is. This was, I think it was last Saturday. I forget which day is what, when he came out and said, in no uncertain terms, he said what he was planning to do.
No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir.
And then the Spanish, the women's team coach, who happens to be a man as well, who's standing with his boss, he was applauding him. Now the Spanish authorities are trying to find a way to sack him as well.
Yeah, I think he changed his mind now. I'm not sure because I really cannot keep up with all the latest news on this thing. He was there. He's the so-called good-looking guy in the middle of the shot at some point, clapping for his boss. Like, you see, it's all this enabling that goes on. That's what gets people into this position. If this guy at a young age, this Rubiales I'm talking about, if at a young age people had taught him this is not the way to act, he wouldn't be doing it. But have you heard about the mother, DJ? The mother.
She's
all right.
Well,
let's look at that. Let's look at that.
Yeah, well, she's looking after looking out for her son, but so.
The mother of Spain's football chief has sought sanctuary in a church as Spanish prosecutors announced they're opening a preliminary investigation of alleged sexual assault over the kiss Luis Rubiales gave Jenny Hermoso at the World Cup.
Que hay un acoso y derribo que no es justo, que su madre, que es una persona muy creyente, se ha refugiado en Dios, que se ha puesto en huelga de hambre, que no quiere salir de la iglesia, que su familia estamos sufriendo muchísimo por él, que no nos parece justo lo que está pasando.
So this is an entire body of people enabling Rubiales now.
And now she's using religion. She's using religion.
She's using the church. She's using her age. She said, I'm willing to die. The cousin comes and says, we are all suffering for him. That's why this guy is the way he is. This is the kind of people that surround him, DJ.
So she obviously doesn't think he's done anything wrong.
No, he's innocent. He's the victim of this sly woman.
Well, yeah, I can understand why people were thinking she's sly, because at first she seemed to be okay with it, but then she wasn't. But whatever. It was heat of the moment. It's a split second, the kiss. And she just needed time to process it as well.
No, you saw what happened before he got to kissing Hermoso on the lips. He was grappling every other player that passed by. He was patting them on their fanny. He was whispering in their ear. He was almost giving them a hickey.
That's what I was saying.
That's what he was doing.
He's got form. He's got a reputation. This isn't the first time he's been in an first incident involving him. So that's why they've one of the reasons they've had to go really tough on him. It's like enough is enough. We're not going to stand for this anymore. And the women and the women team, the players saying they're effectively going to go on strike. That's effectively what they said until
he's gone.
Until he's gone. Fair play to them. Yeah.
Yes, but him being gone is not going to actually solve this. What needs to be done is this whole football association to be turned inside out, and that's what we always forget. We've had a couple of instances here in the Netherlands, especially in the media. Media men, it's like this Rubiales. The higher up they are, the more they think they're allowed to do. And what happens is, slap on the wrist, oh, naughty boy, suspend you for a little while, and then he comes back in a different position. What needs to be done is this mentality needs to change.
Well, I think a lot of people, obviously, they will say kissing someone on the lips. Yes,
I wouldn't even want him kissing my cheek. He's my bloody boss. It's
kissing on the cheek sends a different message, doesn't it?
But it's inappropriate. It's not appropriate for your boss to come hug you like that so you can't move, and then kiss you wherever and nibble on your ear and stroke your hair and lower his hands.
He was holding on to her head, not
to
her
kiss
shoulder,
her. But
her head.
he was almost strangling every other player by there was nowhere for them to go. There was no way for them to even give him a shove. That's what I'm talking about. And then he got then he got to this woman, and he thought, oh, I've already successfully molested 4 others, or I don't know how many. Okay, let's take it a step further. That's what goes on in this kind of man's mind. What?
Yeah. No, nothing. I mean, I'm not agreeing with the way his mind is working at all. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, it's not just a football thing at all. It's a society
That's
thing.
why I'm asking you, because you're a man. What would be sufficient? What would work for
the
people in power, mostly men?
Deterrence. It has to be deterrent.
Like what?
I don't know. Just if you do this, then you will automatic 1 year in prison or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking of the top of my head, but something to make it, to make it a criminal offence.
That's what I mean when I said I'd kill him. I mean.
Yeah, but then you'd go to the gallows.
No, I don't mean literally kill the guy. I mean kill him so he's no longer part of society.
Well, no, I think he's dug his own grave now. Anyway, he's dug his own grave. I mean, will he ever get another job in Spain or anywhere again?
Guess what? No. I think he will, and I think his next job is going to be posh as well because he's a big guy.
Well, we'll see.
That's how it's always been.
I mean, look, there's been a story running in England, and it's again about football, about sadly a Manchester United player, and he's such a great player, but that's another story. He was accused maybe nearly 2 years ago of sexually abusing and raping a woman in Manchester. And it went to court, and it turned out that some of the witnesses changed their statements for whatever reason, who knows, which meant the case had to be dropped because of the way the laws work in the UK. It doesn't mean he was cleared of the charges, but a lot of people are assuming it's fine. There's no case, therefore he's innocent. No, dropping a case is not the same as the charge being cleared from the crime. Now, as a result, this was nearly 2 years ago, Man United have just come out with a statement, and they've just said We've listened to everything. We've done our own internal investigations. We've listened to the women's groups, the Man United, the women Man United supporters club, and we feel it's now we need to let him go. We can't. It wouldn't be right for him to continue playing for us, even though he's an unbelievable talent. And now none of the other teams. Hold on, none of the other teams. The transfer window is still open. None of the other teams in England want to touch him because of what's happened and because what that's going to do for their image as well. There's one country now, two countries that are now prepared to take him on in football. One is Saudi Arabia. Look at their record. Yeah, and the other one is Turkey, which isn't that much better either. So what I'm saying is, the analogy I'm making, it just happens to be about football. But the analogy I'm making, this guy will not get another footballing job in England, which is sad because he's so talented on the football field. And Rubiales, will he get another job of that magnitude in Spain? And that's why I say I doubt it. I doubt that will happen. He'll have to go to another country that's more lenient on how men are with women. He might end up in Saudi Arabia. Sorry,
or Qatar.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Another oil country.
But guess what? If he goes to the Middle East, they're going to pay him huge amounts of money, and he's not going to even care.
No,
I have a problem with that. The guy should be destitute. The guy should be jobless, and at least for a couple of years.
Well, that should be part of the punishment. Well, but it's hard.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Donna has a couple of questions. She says she never followed the tournament. Was Mrs. Hermosa critical to the success of the team? Was she the standout player? Was she the rudder? Well, she was the attacking midfield, so she's the one, deciding where the ball goes. Donna,
a playmaker, maybe.
A playmaker, yeah. She's not the one who made the 1-0 against England that won them the cup, but it's definitely her doing. She's pivotal to the game. So
well, look, all 11 players in their starting 11 would have been pivotal.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be wrong to single out an individual. Okay, if she was like the Messi or Ronaldo, then you could single them out because they're just exceptional players. But I don't know if there was any Spanish player who was particularly exceptional in that way.
I believe she kind of is, but I'm not definite, so I don't know. I'm not going to go there. Adrienne makes another point. She says, as long as groups of rapists are still acquitted with the most appalling excuses in Spain, not only in Spain, Adrienne, but I get your point.
No, but she puts ... which I think implies it could mean other countries too.
Other countries, exactly. Yeah. And that's the point I'm trying to make. That's what needs to be done. And we in this whole sordid situation, all of a sudden, I think you call it the onus was on Jenny Hermoso. There was a lot of pressure on her. Not the onus, but there was a lot of...
the onus is the right word. No, the onus was the onus on her to say no, to refuse it, or was the onus on him to make sure that he only complied with the kiss if she consented?
Well, let's break that down. What say you?
Yeah. Well, what say me is that he shouldn't have even contemplated kissing on the lips in the first place, and therefore it wouldn't be a story.
So let me be advocate of the devil, because there are, of course, millions of people across the globe who say, so if we can't even grab a woman by the head to kiss her because when we are very excited and we in the moment and all the stars are pointing the right way and it just felt like it was the right moment. How can we ever find a partner if we're not even allowed to do that anymore?
Well, one crucial thing you said there is about the head, because that implies, as the body language expert said, that implies, almost like force. Making it really harder for her to say no.
Or to even move her head, or to even shove him, or to even kicking him in the nuts, because that's what she should have done. She's a footballer, for goodness sake, she should have kicked him in the nuts.
Well, look, we've all been a long time for me, but back in the day, you go to New Year's Eve parties, and midnight comes, and people are kissing, and proper kissing, and they've never known each other before.
Which is why I do not go to parties like that. I do not go to parties
Yeah.
where people drink. I do not go to
No, but I'm
parties where
saying is you don't get people in those parties saying, "Oh, I didn't want that to happen."
because they're all drunk.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. The
No.
point I was trying to make is there was so much pressure on Hermoso. She had to come out of her, yay, we won the tournament, we are world champions. She had to come out of that to come out with a statement saying what had happened. She should not have to be bothered with that. This is what she
No.
wrote.
It shouldn't have to be. Yeah.
This is
Oh,
what
yeah,
she
I've
wrote.
seen
The
this.
situation shocked me given the celebrations that were taking
Yeah.
place at the moment, and with the passage of time, and after delving a little deeper into those initial
Exactly.
feelings,
Yeah.
I feel the need to report this incident. So she had to go to the police. Do you know how long it takes for a woman to report sexual molestation at the police station? They're gonna undress her. They're gonna check if he raped her. They're gonna ask her what she was wearing. They're going to all of that. Okay. She says, I believe no person in any work, sports, or social setting should be a victim of these types of non-consensual behaviors. I felt vulnerable and a victim of an impulse-driven, sexist, out-of-place act without any consent on my part. I was not respected. And that, my dear, is the crunch of it.
Yeah.
He just took her as if she was, I don't know what, a piece of paper, and that he could just tear apart. That's the thing. And once again, I cannot stress enough how much is going to come on her shoulders now. She is going to have to prove that this happened, instead of him saying, people, I misbehaved. I was a pig and I shouldn't have been. And I'm going to step down and let somebody take over.
Well, I think the onus is more on he is blatantly lying. Well, he claims that she consented. How did that consent happen? How was that communicated to him? No, seriously. If that's true, how did that manifest?
He came up with a bunch of stuff. He even said, yeah, when they were going towards the bus later on, she was joking with me. So that means that she liked it. That's the kind of guy he is.
Well,
that's the kind of rhetoric.
I agree. When you look at the statement that you just read out showed that on reflection, after thinking about it, and she had a little time to delve in, she considered what had happened and decided to take it further. But at the time, it wasn't like that, because when you see the footage, he kisses her, pats her on the back, and she goes off to the next person as if it's no big deal. Nothing untoward has happened.
But I told you way at the beginning of this program, DJ, what happens in a woman's mind when this. You're totally nonplussed.
No, I know. Yeah,
there is no way that you can come up with the right reaction, because the right reaction would be to punch him in the face. But you can't, because you're not processing what just happened.
Well, she said herself she wasn't thinking along. Because she said she needed, after she took time to delve into what had happened, and then decided.
Terza says she was in shock. That's the right word, Terza. That's exactly what you are when this happens to you. You're in shock.
Yeah,
and the shock added to the euphoria of 2 seconds ago.
So
you're celebrating.
It's unreasonable, very unreasonable, to expect a woman in that situation to even be asked about consent, let alone give it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Carl says that's understating it. That's understating it, Carl. Unnecessary behavior. That's understating it a bit, but at least I know what you mean. So that's what I want to. That's all I want to say about this is he's the pig and now she's doing the work, and that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
And all this time we're not talking about Spain winning the World Cup.
Well, yeah, I mean, it takes the gloss of it, does the gloss off it.
It does. So just to set that straight a little, let's repeat some of the celebration that went on. So at least we keep that lingering in our minds.
Yeah.
Let's have a look
Viva,
at
Viva España.
Viva España. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Iban a poder con nosotros, bueno pues no, han podido. España ha sido grande.
Oh, there she is.
El día de hoy,
Oh,
aquí tenéis la estrella que tanto queríais. Y bueno, no solo la que llevamos ahora en el pecho, sino todas las que están en el cielo y que nos han acompañado.
Y no existen caminos y vamos sin fin, que cuando nos unimos podemos cumplir. ¡Campeona! ¡Campeona!
Yeah.
and naturally, he was nowhere to be seen.
Of course not. Of
Yeah,
course not.
correctly.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
in Coventry somewhere.
Hiding in his little lair of disgustingness.
Probably watching some porn or something.
For sure. With his mom bringing him cookies. Speaking of which, Terza adds that the fact that his mother is on a hunger strike says a lot about his mindset. It says everything about his mindset.
And his mums too.
Yeah, his mom needs to continue her hunger strike. Let me put it nicely.
Oh, that's dread.
I said it nicely. I said it very nicely.
I know.
No, but she brought up, and supposedly his father, God knows where he is in this whole story. But you know, parents are the one who need to teach young men what is appropriate behavior and not go about enabling their misconduct and saying, "Boo hoo hoo, my little son is."
Well, this takes us back to so many in previous episodes where we talked about the responsibilities of parenting and how that parenting impacts their children as they grow up. We did that whole thing on Dance Hall as well, and where the parents just encourage it actually.
Yeah.
It's a global. It's a major problem, I think, because now we're touching. This is on a much more macro scale now. Why do people grow up and have these thoughts and have these mindsets and thinking that way?
Because it's patriarchy. And that's I keep telling you, there's two topics that keep coming back in our programs. It's capitalism and it's patriarchy. And this is patriarchy. This is the world needs to change this. We really, really need to change this, DJ. I don't know where to start.
Well, yeah. No, where to start? Yeah. I guess you start where you want to end up with. What do you want the outcome to be?
I want people to just respect each other and stop thinking of themselves as the center of the universe.
Yeah. And you've got to address the whole thing about egos and what people and what people want versus what people need as well. Thinking you need something when you don't need it, but you actually just want it.
Exactly. And that's like Adrienne is saying, that's from the day they are born that you teach them stuff. And what we're teaching little boys, I saw a fantastic series on this whole thing and how you can change the mindset within a year. This was a BBC thing I was watching in a classroom, little children, I think they were 6 years old. At the beginning of the year, all the little boys were macho and they were the ones, bullying everybody. And they were the ones being enabled in their misbehavior by the teacher, because the guys were the blokes and the girls were honey and sweetie and cutie. That's what they were being called by the teacher. That behavior results in girls not thinking they can't do maths because that's a boy thing to do. It results in girls thinking they can't climb a wall because that's a boy's thing to do. And it also results in boys thinking girls are stupid and weak and silly because that's what we're teaching them. That school, that classroom I'm talking about, within a year of changing the teacher's behavior and empowering the girls and telling the boys, look, it's okay to cry. Boys have only one emotion. It's anger. It's not fear. It's when they feel fear, they go angry. When they're scared, they go angry. When they're in love, they go angry. When something's funny and it's about them, they go angry. That's all men are taught to do because boys don't cry. That's what we teach boys. That's at the heart of this thing.
Teach them about being macho.
We should teach them about being human beings, and instead of teaching them about being gorillas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if this is relevant, but you're talking about the way girls are taught and the way girls are treated and perceived by men. I mean, I haven't watched it, but this whole thing about the Barbie film is that a bad example for girls? I haven't watched it.
Barbie is a bad example for girls. I believe that they did some kind of little feminist spin on this movie, but I'm not going to be bothered to go watch it because I'm against Barbie.
I'm curious.
I'm against Barbie. Barbie is the first thing that little girls get in their hands that teaches them how they should look, which is a totally non-realistic way.
I agree. Blue-eyed blonde and
big tits and it's all disproportionate, and yet that is what girls aspire to.
So the reason I mentioned that is because something like that, with all the massive publicity it's been getting, is counterproductive.
It is. Once again, I haven't seen the film, so I don't know what they mean by there's a little feminist spin on it.
We know what the Barbie doll symbolizes, and that's where I'm coming from.
And we know the only reason the film is there is to make tons and tons and tons of money.
Of course.
That's the only. It's not there to educate girls or boys, for that matter.
But both boys, I'm not just saying men and women, I'm saying boys and girls. They will go to the cinema, they will watch it on Netflix, or they will watch it. And they will take it in, and they will think, oh, well, it's okay when they see stuff like that. The women, the girls as well. They'll think this is how we need to behave.
And that's why I'm telling you that one experiment that I saw on BBC television, within a year, you could see the difference. So why don't we start with that? Why don't we just start treating children the same?
In the school place. It says
and at home, everywhere. Treat them the same. You cannot expect children to who we are teaching differences to grow up being people who know that they're equal. I'm not saying they're the same, but I'm saying they're equal.
They should be treated equally. Yes.
Instead, we are teaching girls that they exist to fulfill men's whims. That's a great point, Adrienne. That is very true.
Teaching girls that they exist to fulfill.
It all starts with the whole pink and blue crap.
Yeah.
The pink is about being a fairy and falling asleep, and the prince will come and wake you up with a kiss, with a non-consensual kiss.
So what about men existing to fulfill women's whims? Because that wouldn't work, because women wouldn't even think in that way.
Exactly. Also, people are people. Nobody's here to fulfill anybody's whims. We are here to fulfill our own lives. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, a whim's a whim,
we're not here to
it?
please. We are not here to make somebody else happy. We're here, first of all, to survive, and I guess to procreate in some way. I haven't worked on that, and I'm not about to. But time's gone for that anyway.
Yeah, well,
But,
let the other people. There's plenty of others who are working on that. So, yeah.
and those people should know, because I'm telling them now, it's not just having the baby. It's what you do with the baby. It's what you teach the baby. It's how you teach siblings if there's more than one baby coming from your body. You teach siblings how to interact. And when they go to school, in the school, that's where we should stop saying cutie pie to girls and hi there bloke to the boys. Huh?
It's really hard. I'm trying to imagine. I have in the past imagined being a parent to more than one child, because as soon as child number 2 is born, the attention shifts from child 1 to child 2, and the effect that can have on child 1. This is what I've tried.
So you coach child 1 through that traumatic experience.
Well, it happened with me. I have a younger brother, so when he was born, all of a sudden, the attention wasn't on me. Almost overnight, I practically got from all the attention to practically none, and it transferred because he needed he clearly was a baby.
I'm number 4 of 5 children, and in my case, things went well. So that's what I'm saying.
But you are one of 4 women, so maybe there's a difference there.
No, why?
Sisters, as opposed.
No. It's not the sisters raising each other. It's the parents who need to do a better job, DJ.
Right.
It's the parents, and if you're not up for the job, don't make babies. I'm very clear on that.
No, absolutely, I agree. I agree. I mean, and if you can't take the responsibility, then don't even think about it, because I wouldn't want the responsibility. I really wouldn't want that response. A lot of people have criticised me for that, but I'm saying, well,
you know what? You should tell them. There's a lot of people who should have followed my example. That's what you should be telling them, because I can point to many
with their children. Yeah,
I can point to many people whom I think should not have started on babies. Just saying. It's not because everybody else is making them that you need to make them too. So big up yourself. At least you knew your shortcomings and you acted on that.
Yeah. For real.
Well, I guess that's it for today, because once again, we're not going to solve this. We just know what needs to be done, but nobody's ever listening to us, are they, DJ?
No. But I think the example of the school in the UK that you in the BBC doc, that is something.
That is something, but let's act on it. Is what I'm saying.
It shows promise that there is.
Yeah.
There is a way through this.
True. Yeah.
No, but seriously,
I agree. I wouldn't have mentioned it if I didn't. I agree.
They should send that documentary to the Spanish government or something. And they should
send it all across the globe, and people should act on it, is what I'm saying. Right. Not just go, oh, look how interesting. What a wonderful thing they did in England, and then not do it yourself.
Well, one of the drawbacks with that big time is that the people who make these decisions and the people in government are overwhelming majority are men. Yeah,
patriarchs.
Exactly. So, will it really have any impact at all?
Remember, a couple of episodes ago, I said to you, DJ, what the world needs is 50 years of woman leadership, female leadership. 50 years. Give us 50 years. That's all I have to say. Yeah. So back again next week. Yeah. On September the 6th is where the next Wenzzzday Ting will be. Okay. Hope everybody watching today will be there. Tell your friends to tell their friends. And for goodness sakes, be more active. It's a communal thing. DJ and I just bring up the subjects, but we'd like to hear what you have to say about them as well. So maybe once or twice join us in the studio and be active like you were today in the comment section. We really appreciate that. So that's next week on September 6th, DJ. So Looking
And I've
forward to
chosen.
that.
I've already got a topic. I've chosen a topic for next week.
Don't tell us. Let it be a
No,
big
I wasn't going
surprise.
to. I was just saying that I've got one.
Good. Good. At
Yeah.
least I won't be spending Tuesday middle of the night preparing for this.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for being the sort of man that could be the example to the rest of patriarchy. You at least try.
What? No more children because you can't take the
Not
responsibility.
only that, DJ. Yeah. Well, that's a good start. But you wouldn't be my friend if you had this kind of mindset. So you know that, right?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. That's it, DJ.
Right.
See you
Thank
next
you,
time.
Poca. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
One love.
PocaTV.